let's get to the next one. So next on we have
There has very much been a culture.
why not? Steam is on a
There's very
warpath.
much been a cultural revolution within the video game industry between the players and the publishers and the media, and a lot of it has been platformed off of Steam. Not actively, so to say, more passively than anything else, because it's one of the only places, it's one of the only platforms where the customer still has a voice and that voice can be heard. We just don't see that in a lot of other places. And I don't think a lot of people have picked up on this, but not only has Steam been getting more popular, they've been on a warpath. They've been setting up rules and
I'd say that is wrong. Not that is wrong, but like that's Steam has become popular. Steam became popular a long time ago and never changed. Never became unpopular since then. Steam became popular, became a revolution, and stayed within, kept its status.
and regulations for all of these other publishers to follow. And if they don't fall in line, well, then they're not going to be on Steam. And these guys want to be on Steam. And I realize that a lot of people are going to push back and say that's a lot of power for one company to have. And you're absolutely right in that. But from my perspective, they've all.
Yeah, but like that's what I said is true, but Steam is the exception that confirms the rule that like Steam is not like the wrong company to have that much power. Steam is actually the right company to have this much power.
Also become our de facto legislators in an industry that is wildly underregulated. They are putting consumer protections in place in an industry where those consumer protections don't exist. And why are they doing it? Well, it's because they value their audience. We've had plenty of conversations about an industry at war with its own audience. Well, this is the last bastion of that industry where they still care about us. So, from hitting 40 million concurrent players on Steam and exposing Activision Blizzard to beating Amazon and not even knowing it, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the continued success of Steam and how they're drawing battle lines nobody wants to cross. If Steam was ever going to have a competitor, it would have been Amazon because they have the money, the infrastructure, the Twitch integrations they could do to be able to create something massive, but instead they threw billions at a problem and made nothing. A former Amazon executive admitted as much in a recent article from Windows Central written by Michael Hoagland titled Amazon Admits Defeat to Steam as Former VP Declares, We were 250 times bigger, but Goliath lost.
Because and this is like something that like really sounds stupid, but it is the truth within like the gaming industry. The gaming industry is less than like the real gaming industry, and is less than a couple decades old, right? So the new actors within this industry are not passionate about video games; they are commercials and CEOs and just like basically economical legislators within like corporations. And the thing is that like you cannot win against that dude that is like also an economical legislator. So someone that actually create trends however the fuck he wants. I'm talking to you, Gaben, right? And like you cannot win against a dude that actually knows what the fuck a video game is compared to a dude to a team of dudes to a team of corporates that do not know what a video game is. And by saying what a video game is, it's from the indie company, the bigger company, the corporate companies. They understand everything within it, and they allow a lot within their platform. And this is why you cannot undo Steam. You cannot win against Steam. You can be a good example next to Steam, but you cannot compete. And the corporate world with like the fucking like Epic Store, the fucking PlayStation Store, and everything showed that like especially with like the PlayStation Store, well, it gave up as well. Like not only Amazon, they gave up as well because they started like releasing games on PC and where their PS2 exclusive on PC, and where did they release their exclusive on fucking Steam again. And this is the thing, like you cannot fucking beat Steam. You can just be a good example next to it. And so far, no one was able to. Why? Because they are corporates and they're not like these people that understand video games. Maybe in the future it will happen, but it already happens kind of in a way within like indie companies, actually indie video game companies, such as I'm talking like about like Path of Exile, that actually created a model and a structure, an economical structure within their within this game, where like things are working. As a publisher, like technically there is like pretty much this is pretty much it. You cannot win against Steam. You cannot win because the people that are like doing it, they're passionate. They're not corporate paid by a corporation to fucking like do their job, and they're already anchored, and they have so many they are have more wins than you'll ever face losses in your life as an entrepreneur. And this is something that like people do not understand. You cannot beat Steam. You can be a good example next to it. That's it. Like the indie company that actually like are on Steam and actually do good products.
Just because you're big enough to build something doesn't mean people will use it. Michael writes, in a LinkedIn post, Ethan Evans recalls his loss to Steam when he led the division. We were at least 250 times bigger, and we tried everything, but ultimately Goliath lost. That's an interesting choice of words when you compare market share. While it's true Amazon by itself is a company that vastly outsizes Steam, no other company has ever held a portion of the PC market like Steam has. To me, they've always been Goliath. It's just been other Goliaths coming to battle them with similar tools and identical features, but a simple change of attire. Ethan admits to
Yeah.
misunderstanding what it took to take on the giant. At Amazon, we assumed that size and visibility would be enough to attract customers, but we underestimated the power of existing user habits. We never validated our core assumptions before investing heavily in solutions. The truth is, gamers already had a solution to their problems, and they weren't going to switch to another platform just because a new one was available. When a person is happy, they don't go look elsewhere because something else is available. When a player has a large library of games, achievements, friends, and hours spent on a product platform, what's the reason for them to shift? Beep boop, does not compute. We fail to understand user habits. These suits are complete bots, failing to understand anything about the industry, the games, or the players. Just one time I would hear these guys say something that genuinely reflects the perspective of the players. Just one time I want.
And this is true because like they will, so the corporate world will actually like try to fucking understand their consumers using numbers, using well indie companies and Steam and companies alike. They actually know already the players. They actually are the players. So that's why it functions, and that's why like there's like this dichotomy, like this complete like difference, this disconnection between like corporation trying to sell you stuff and these and Steam trying to sell you stuff. And this is something that like they still haven't understood, but this is such a virgin economical plane where like a lot of things are still to be done and a lot of things are still to be discovered. And but corporations are really like really stuck minded in their idea that like this is something that you can fucking like get into and sell like your cars or your electro like and your like basically like your day-to-day items or that you can sell on Amazon. It is not the same. You sell an adventure, you sell something else. Someday they will, and the moment it will happen, this will be terrifying because I really don't know what it will look like. What I hope is for Steam to never fucking go down, but it probably won't. They make too much money out of it.
Want them to put themselves in the player's shoes. They were so close saying gamers already have a solution. The issue is these suits don't understand the problem being solved.
And this is also like I'll comment. I'll say this: a lot of corporative games assume what the what gamer like and what gamer love, and they assume it wrong each time, and this is because they come from like they study numbers instead of studying like players. They don't invite like streamers. They don't invite like everything is done within like a bubble that is not like the bubble where like you actually grow. They're still stuck in ways that are like the business of electronic arts is not the same business as any other business. It's kind of like it's kind of comparing like the market of us the furniture market uh compared to the weapon market, compared to the electronic arts market. These are not the same markets. They do not play by the same rules, and the actors are not the same. And if you try to fucking get into that and act like as a newbie, you'll never get out of it. You'll just lose money like everyone else that did before, you know?
Is them. Amazon thought that they could brute force their way into the PC gaming space, but they never understood why people use Steam in the first place. Steam's not just a storefront, it's a platform that's built on trust. Valve isn't some faceless mega corporation chasing quarterly earnings reports. It's a company ran by people who actually understand games. When they make changes,
Exactly.
it's almost always in the favor of the developer or the player. They give developers real tools. They don't try to nickel and dime their players. They treat the ecosystem like a living thing, not a cash register. Meanwhile, Amazon thought that they could just throw some money at Twitch streamers, slap together a launcher, and all of a sudden compete with Steam, but
And it will probably won't mention that, but Steam is also like a social platform for developer and upcoming developers to actually like create models. Like a lot of models in Defense of the Ancient 2, so Dota 2, do not come from Steam. They come from actually students or like game designers that actually create new skins for Dota 2. They put it on there is like a lot of concurses, but you put it on the library within Steam, and within this library, more often than not, these skins made by fans are picked up in the game to make and that will generate revenue. This is just to show you like the difference between the mentality of Steam compared to, let's say, well, I don't know, uh, League of Legends, right? Just to give you an example, even if League of Legends is really great, right, with its marketing campaign and with its way to sell products, it's just that like they are so ahead of their times, they are so ahead and so connected to the players that like there is no comparison, except the indie developers that like do their best. The best example for me is Path of Exile. Path of Exile is quite the fucking like good example to compare to Steam when it comes to not as a selling platform but as a publisher. They do things great. Or CD Projekt Red or From Software. Like as game publisher, not as a gaming marketing gaming online marketing places.
they were wrong. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to use Amazon's half-assed gaming service. Even with all of their unlimited money, they still couldn't buy relevance. And that's why Steam is untouchable. It's not about the games, it's about how the platform treats you. And unlike every other company within this industry, Valve doesn't treat its customers like walking ATMs. Amazon failed, Epic failed, Ubisoft failed. Every single competitor who has tried to take on Steam has failed. And it's because Valve actually respects their customers. Imagine that, a company that
Absolutely.
doesn't hate us. I'll be honest with you.
Respect and understand their customers. And when I say understand, it's truly understanding the customers because like they are true gamers and they begin as true gamers. Team was made by gamers for gamers. Nothing more, nothing less. These days there's so many like I won't berate it. Let's watch the video.
Guys, if it wasn't for me actually reading these headlines, I wouldn't even have known that Amazon even had a storefront. That's how little people were talking about it. That's how little people were interested in anything other than Steam. And Steam's success isn't going to be stopping anytime soon because it's part of a much bigger shift in this industry.
But I'll tell you, Path of Exile was also made by a fan of the games, video game gamers who started in a fucking garage, and they fucking made bank as well. Blizzard Entertainment was also like this.
PC gaming is growing faster than ever, and the data proves it. As reported by IGN in an article titled Steam Tops 40 Million Concurrent Players for the First Time as We All Jump In to Play Monster Hunter Wilds, Vicky Blake reports Steam, the most popular digital game distributor for PC players, has once again broke its own concurrent user record, breaching 40 million concurrent players for the first time. Over the weekend, which just so happened to coincide with Monster Hunter Wilds launch on Friday, February 28th, Steam logged 40,270,997 simultaneous players, breaking its previous record of 39.9 million players set in February 2025. In fact, according to SteamDB, Steam's concurrent record, seen by some as a way of measuring the success of Valve's digital platform, has been broken almost every single month since May 2024, with the concurrent peak rising from 35.5 million players to 40.2 million in just 6 months. So now let's put all this into perspective. Steam isn't just growing, it's growing faster than ever. While gaming platforms are struggling with engagement loss, live service failures, and subscription fatigue, well, Steam is doing the exact opposite. Every single month, their records keep breaking. Every year, their foothold in the industry gets stronger. And that's because PC gaming isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Consoles used to be the convenient option. Plug it in, press start, and play. But that illusion has started to crack. Next-gen console hardware launched with big promises, but what did the players actually get? 30 FPS modes, aggressive upscaling, missing features, and all the while, these platforms have done little to improve the customer experience. I mean, we have people that are buying the hardware outright, subscribing to play online using the internet they already own, and they're being filtered into a limited ecosystem of games where their reviews mean nothing. They're being bombarded with ads on their dashboard, and they're locked out of basic features. What exactly are these people playing for? Of course they're going to start going to PC. And then we have streaming culture.
Yeah, and on Steam, the ads that you get are about video games, and and you do not get any type of other ads. That it's stupid when you think about it, but like, think about it for a second. On Steam, you have a lot of ads. You have ads beyond something that you will find reasonable in any other online space, but they're video game ads, so you don't care because they respect you and because they know that like if you're into Steam, you're about you want to think and talk and like just thinking like vibe with video games. So what do they fucking like promote you and make ads of? Video games. It's that simple. But like this is like this corporative world that still is like so rigid to these changes, and that they do not understand that like the businessmen and the business women of the future are actually like people that fucking like do not do this bullshit argument, nonsensical argument of we are understanding stuff that we actually don't, right? And you will buy it because numbers said so. No, like stuff is really like when it comes to commerce, it's really more easier. Like to be honest, like this corporation needs to fucking like like go in fucking Colombia and fucking like take the time to fucking like watch how drug lords and fucking like gangs selling drugs internationally function to maybe fucking like improve their fucking marketing strategy, because oh my god, the way they promote their games is so fucking pitiful and cringe. You're like, yeah, dude, uh I'll still buy the fucking game that like is actually promoted to me like I'm not a fucking idiot. Even if even if the game sucks, even if the game is bad, people will play the game that doesn't fucking sell you an ad that fucking tells you, "Hey stupid that play video games, buy this. It's for you. We know it." They'll play a game like Ori where it's like discover our universe. come into it. We don't know what to say about it. We just like it and we just want to share. Like, this is what sells.
Because more players aren't just playing games anymore, they're creating content. They're streaming on Twitch, editing clips for YouTube, and engaging with gaming in ways that, well, consoles just simply weren't built for. The Steam Deck has made a huge difference as well. This is one of the smartest things that Valve has ever done because it's not just a handheld PC, it's a bridge.
Yeah, Steam Deck, people don't talk about it. The Steam Deck is a revolution as well. Like, you play for your PC games and it costs a lot. Yeah, it costs a fucking PS5, but like at the same time, the fucking done the impossible. So like, anyway.
It pulled in console players who had never touched Steam before, and once they saw what was possible, no paid subscriptions for online, full access to an entire library of games, the ability to tweak and mod things whenever you want to, why would you?
And also like fucking like sales all the time. Like, you cannot imagine how many games you can get for almost free just because you connect to the you are active within this online marketplace.
You go back. More games, fewer restrictions. Steam doesn't have the same walled garden nonsense that PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox do. Early access thrives here. Indie games have a real shot at success. Modding is alive and well, and Valve isn't strong arming developers into exclusivity deals and trying to push a storefront that nobody wants. But arguably the biggest catalyst for Steam's
Exactly.
recent success is actually the launch of Steam China back in 2021. While initially the adoption rate was pretty slow, we've seen with the launch of Black Myth Wukong and more recently Monster Hunter Wilds just how much of an impact that can have. I myself am welcoming my Chinese brethren into the fold because these guys do not put up with poor optimization. Did you?
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, Steam does something that like not a lot of like other publisher do. And I will ask you the question. Do you like being talked to and treated as an idiot? No. And no one does, except me by my ex, because like my ex used to call me an idiot. It made me like she had like good life lessons and she teach me a lot of life lessons, even if it was brutal, scary, and at times I thought I will die. But no one likes to be treated as an idiot. Steam doesn't treat you as an idiot, and this is also like why they don't fucking fail at what they're doing.
You guys know that most of the negative reviews on Monster Hunter Wilds were written in simplified Chinese? Steam now has access to one of the biggest consumer markets in the entire world with a population of 1.4 billion people. That's going to have an effect. The numbers don't lie. PC gaming isn't just growing, it's pulling in players away from consoles, and Steam is leading the charge. Not because they're trying to force anybody's hand, but because at the end of the day, they don't need to. When given a choice, players choose Steam, and that says everything. And Steam's only going to get bigger, especially because of Steam China, because we've already seen that month after month, we're going to see more and more of these Chinese games release. And we saw the effect of Black Myth Wukong and how many players that brought into the ecosystem. And with some of these Chinese games that are going to be coming out, they're going to get national support. And that's going to act like a bullhorn that's going to bring in more Western players. They're going to be attracted to that game and how popular it is. That's how this thing continues to work. And other than GOG, see, I mentioned GOG, praise me in the comments. I don't see any reason for me to use any other platform that's out there because none of them are as consumer friendly and as convenient as Steam is. Sure, I realize that that's monopoly.
This is the word. This is the word. Convenience. I tried the fucking Epic Store. What the fuck? Like, I tried to fucking like I tried to fucking like do the Microsoft Store. What the fuck? Like, I tried to fucking go into the Nintendo Store. What the fuck? I go on Steam, I just type the thing I want, it's on sale all the time, and if it's not on sale, I can find a way to fucking buy a key on a non-sketchy website for like actually have a sale. Like, this is it's as simple as that. Like, it's monopolistic. Yeah, but like some Coca-Cola is also a monopoly. Do people care? No. Like, it's a good monopoly. Actually, talking about Coca-Cola, let me grab a poison can real quick.
But I really like it when a monopoly works for me. And that's exactly what Steam does. Steam works for me. At a glance, I can see everything that I want to about a game. I can see how many people are playing it. I can see what people are saying about it. I can see screenshots or the trailers or people streaming it. They have streams right on Steam. I can see what content's included in the version I want to buy. Maybe it's included in a bundle, or maybe it's on sale. It'll put up in big, bold, yellow text whether or not it has any type of third-party software like DRM or whatever else it might be. If I don't like it, within 2 hours, I can return it, no questions asked, and you just do not have those things on any other platform. Not a single one of them. It makes no sense.
Do you understand after his arguments how rudimentary other like online video game marketing platform are? Like, this is exactly what I told you about, like that there's still like that the corporative world is still at its infancy when it comes to like understanding what the but like we are eons ahead of like what it is to be what it is to be well treated, respected as consumers within like the Steam bubble, and they do not understand that. And it will take like and they will fucking like hit the wall and fucking release failure after failure until they fucking understand that this is not the world that like they fucking come from. This is the fucking strange world of people that respect each other, where business work because we don't fucking like actually lie to each other or fucking take each other for idiots.
To me, how any of these companies would try to compete with Steam if they will not compete on their terms. If you are not trying to iterate on the things that make Steam successful, the reason why people go to Steam in the first place, then why are you even trying? All you're doing is wasting time and money, because every single month that you're not doing what they do, players are buying more games on Steam, they're becoming more invested on that platform, and it's getting even more popular, and you won't stand a chance. But I think that's the critical issue. It's not that they don't understand why Steam works or why Steam is popular. It's that they hate that it does, because they hate how user-friendly it is. They hate how much control and how much transparency it has. They hate how much control the players have, how much choice the players have. And they really don't like the fact that they have to operate on Steam's terms instead of their own.
And that's the thing. In business, it's not about you like or you don't like. It's about you either adapt or you fucking never succeed. And this is really like what's funny, because all these like people super corporation that fucking takes you for an idiot trying to sell you their fucking half-baked non-finished video games call you an idiot, but like they don't want to fucking adapt, but technically they need to respect Steam and other like indie platforms the same way, because they are the behemoths, they are the juggernauts of these industries. And it's like just it's just because it doesn't look like a fucking it doesn't look like Microsoft. Yeah, but it's still Microsoft, so fucking like adapt and don't be a fucking bitch about it. Because each time it's really funny when I see a new like online platform trying to fucking like do something, and it's like, yeah, but we won't fucking like do the same thing that is successful and brings like billions to this company because we are a corporation. It's like, well, you're lost, man, because like rules are already established in this place of the market. And you cannot outfight what the fuck is the monster that is Steam and the indie company supporting it.
Steam isn't just a storefront, it's an industry watchdog, and that becomes more obvious every year. Activision Blizzard recently tried to sneak in AI-generated art into Call of Duty without telling anyone, letting players assume that they were paying for real handcrafted content, until Steam's latest policy forced them to come clean. As of 2025, Steam requires full transparency. If a game contains AI-generated content, it has to be disclosed up front. AI itself isn't necessarily the issue. I don't think that players are necessarily against it, but I think that players are against paying more for less. AI should, in theory, lower costs and improve efficiency, yet somehow publishers are using it to cut corners while still charging premium prices. That's what players hate. Not that AI exists, but that it's being used to shortcut and pump out lazy, overpriced content. And if Steam hadn't stepped in, publishers would have kept pretending like it wasn't happening at all. And this isn't the first time that Valve has forced publishers to play fair. In 2024, EA openly discussed adding in-game advertisements, one of the most profitable ways to be able to nickel and dime your customers at the expense of their experience, but Steam shut it down immediately. They banned forced advertisements in games just like that. While other companies may see gaming as another passive entertainment platform to monetize like streaming services, Valve made it clear players should not have to sit through a commercial break to play a game that they paid for. No wonder Sony's been so
Do you understand? This is. I will translate to you what's the declaration of Steam, and take the time to just I'll just like rewind this, and just to make you understand what I was talking about earlier.
passive entertainment platform to monetize like streaming services, Valve made it clear players should not have to sit through a commercial break to play a game that they paid for.
So Steam basically say we do not consider you as brain as stupid consumers that buy whatever the fuck we give you, and we do not consider you as idiots at all. We consider you as gamers that deserve respect. And they do that for like a lot of things while no one else does. And it's just like in this fucking like when you see that, it's really funny because like they always do the good choice and they get rewarded for that. And no one else wants to, and it's just like at this point like at this point it's pure stupidity. It's not pure stupidity, like corporative world is really like strict and really like already like codified, right? So they have like a lot of like, but at the same time, like they are also codified and they use the same corporate. They are a behemoth within the corporative world that does the double talk, right? But it's just like basically the story goes by. If you want like the whole fucking like summary of this story, Steam doesn't take their customers for idiots. Other companies do, and they never fucking succeed at lasting because people don't like being treated as idiots. End of the story.
No wonder Sony's been so hesitant to move to Steam. I'm sure they'd love to cash in on that ad patent they've been sitting on. But if that wasn't enough, and this is something we've talked about in a previous video, Valve also cracked down on one of the biggest publisher scams, selling season passes and DLC with no intention on delivering the content on time. For years, developers have been getting away with promising post-launch expansions, collecting money up front, and either delaying their content indefinitely or just canceling it all.
And you'll tell me, yeah, but like there's only Steam, right? From Software doesn't do that. CD Projekt Red doesn't do that. They did failures, right? But CD Projekt Red like fucking like actually like assume their mistakes, and now Cyberpunk 2077 like really fucking shines, right? Like there is like other like for me Blizzard Entertainment when it comes to like there is like a lot because Activision, Blizzard and stuff is also something that like the promised products, and they don't fucking like they do not fucking take you as an idiot. They consider you as a fan, as a player, and as someone that has value and that valued that, and they consider their product as their own like miracles, right? And because of that, like good business is done. Like but in this like economical sphere, it's still amazing. It's still in infancy. It is, but like well, like seeing this period of infancy lasting for fucking 15 years, like it makes me fucking laugh because it's just like when will you fucking learn that like things are not done this way in here. We're not fucking idiots. People who play fucking video games are usually people who program your fucking like industry, the people that are fucking like fixing your computers, people that are fucking like able to fucking like that are usually giant in industries, like, or at least like the people working for giants in like engineering industries and stuff like that, because technically like the people who make video games, they're engineers themselves,
Altogether, but Steam changed the rules. Now, if a developer misses their content or their DLC deadline and they don't notify Steam of the delay, Steam will automatically refund players. No waiting, no arguing, just instant refunds. Name another platform that does that. You can't. But what really pisses off these publishers about Steam isn't their policies, it's their transparency. Valve actually gives the players the
And I'll give you another example when it comes to, just so you get an idea. So we talk about like the market of the online video game market, right? Let's talk about the online streaming market. YouTube versus Twitch. Twitch don't consider you as an idiot when they fucking sell when they promote their product. YouTube is in its infancy, meaning they do not consider you as an idiot, but they do not understand yet the intricacies and how complex like the streaming world is, right? They're not like in this corporate world, they're not like bad actors. YouTube is not a bad actor, but it's just to give you like a parallel where it's like to bring you more perspective about what he's talking about, what I'm talking about, and why I find it so funny that like these fucking like uh, it's corporative like entities keep fucking like hitting themselves against the fucking wall just because they don't understand that like the same rules do not apply here. The customers within like the video the electronic arts world are usually like quite educated about themselves and quite educated about their fucking like buying habits. They're not your average Joe that fucking like they're not your layman that will fucking eat whatever the fuck you give to him.
information they need before making a purchase. And that's a serious threat to an industry that's built on hype, artificial scarcity, and manufactured popularity. Taking current player data, for example, Steam lets players see exactly how many people are playing a game in real time, a feature that Ubisoft reportedly wanted to see them remove, but it's obvious why they would want to have it gone. Publishers do not want you to see the actual numbers. They want you listening to journalists to tell you that the game is popular. But on Steam, you don't have to take anyone's word for it. You can go see the numbers yourself. You can go see if a live service game is thriving or barely hanging on. You can decide if it's worth investing your money into or if it's already a ghost town that won't last another 6 months. And that's a problem because this directly conflicts with their financial goals. These companies have no problem making players spend money before they eventually pull the plug, and they have no issue gaslighting players into.
And do you understand how many arguments this YouTuber is just making about like does this feel good? You know, like this feel good feeling that you have when you are playing a new video game or like enjoying a new experience. Do you understand how many like feel good fucking arguments, feel good arguments, feel good options, I'd say um they have when you discover Steam. You feel good because you can see like commentaries. You feel good because the commentaries, like you can see the number of hours played by the person that actually did the commentary. You feel good because you can see if the concurrent player is a lot, if you can get like a game online if 2 months later after release because you don't know. You feel good because like they do a lot of consumer protection when it comes to like shady practices. You feel good because as a game designer you can actually put your game on Steam and it's actually relatively easy. You feel good because you can connect. You feel good because you don't have a fucking battle pass. You feel good because there are like promotions like to the point where it's like people call Gaben, so Gaben Newell, the CEO of Steam, basically they call him God because basically the dude is just like is an icon within like the industry because he's so nice, because he's respected, and because he also is a frontman for all this like these promotions and stuff, and he actually like is into like doing fun stuff as well, you know, like Steam is like one of the rare companies where it's like corporations, I mean, where it's like they're just like us, they understand us, and they understand our needs, no, or fear, and they understand that we're just players, and we don't fucking care about this nonsense that like people try to fucking sell us, be like, we are the new revolution. Who the fucking cares? I just want to know if the game is playable, if it's a good video game, and if I'll have a good time, that, and if the price is reasonable. That's it. I don't care about your fucking flowers and fucking clouds in the sky, and that the sun is shining better when you're talking.
To believing a game is alive and well when it's not. You know what else directly impacts their sales, or at least should? Reviews. And nothing forces publishers to be more honest than Steam's review system. This isn't just a feature, it's one of the most powerful forces in.
And actually, game, like when it comes to like, so in Epic Store and other stores, these reviews do not exist. They're catered, so it means that like they're like kind of highly reviewed, right? These reviews actually like are, do you know who they are the most helpful? You'll be surprised. Not to the consumer, but to the game designers and to the game developers and to the game directors, because they get to see where the fuck are the glitches. They get to see what the fuck people don't like, and they get to see if they're really passionate and motivated to create a better game like Cyberpunk 2077. Well, they'll fix the game. Cyberpunk 2077 was a fucking train wreck when was a fucking train wreck, was a fucking like fi- f- trash can on fire when it got released. But then they listened to feedback, and now it's an excellent game, you know. And this comes from where? This comes from fucking here, bro. Like this comes from the fucking like reviews that people fucking left.
Gaming. A single bad decision can sink your game overnight. When Sony tried to force in PlayStation logins into Helldivers 2, Steam players review bombed the game so hard that Sony backtracked in record time. This wouldn't have happened on any other platform, but on Steam, negative reviews can actually affect sales, which means developers can't ignore them. And it's not.
I'll say this, like I think, like everyone's, I'm not sure if it's Marilyn Monroe that said that, but I think that like people give her the credit. Talk about me in a good way or in a bad way. What's important is that you talk about me. And basically, even there, these corporations, they fucking lose because like it doesn't matter if you have like 500 reviews telling that your games suck. You have 500 reviews from real people, not your two fucking reviews from game journalists and one review from a fucking bot that fucking like makes like the environment and the community aspect of your game fucking dead on
It's not
arrival.
just PC players that are checking out these Steam reviews. Console players are relying on them too, because let's be honest, gaming journalism is dead. IGN, Kotaku, GameSpot, these outlets have turned into nothing more than corporate mouthpieces, handing out 9 out of 10 scores to garbage, half-baked games, dismissing real player concerns and treating criticism like it's toxic. Nobody trusts them anymore. Players aren't going to waste their time and money based on some paid for Metacritic score. Instead, they're going to go check out Steam because that's the place where real, unfiltered player opinions
Exactly.
actually matter. Steam lets players organize and warn each other. Unlike other platforms that try to suppress discussions that might hurt their sales, Steam allows open, unmoderated discussions. Take Sweet Baby Detected as an example, a group that tracks a specific game consultancy agency that was involved with writing different games. Whether you agree with them or not, players deserve the right to know who is shaping their games and if they want to buy something that they are involved in. The gaming press wanted Steam to shut it down. Developers tried to call for its removal, but Valve, they didn't cave. They didn't censor it. They left it up. Here's the truth. Steam doesn't just compete with these other storefronts. It is regulating the entire industry. Anytime Steam makes a change or bans something entirely.
Steam is like handling and just like managing its corporation better than some countries are managing their own fucking citizens. I cannot believe it. It's so funny to think about.
These publishers and developers have to fall in line. Otherwise, they're not going to have their games on the biggest platform in the world. And with how hard it's been for some of these companies to actually profit off of some of their games, they cannot afford to not be on Steam. That's why Steam is such a threat to modern gaming. It exists in direct opposition to everything that these big publishers have been wanting. It's too user-friendly. It gives players too much control. It's too transparent, and it forces them to play fair. And that's why these companies keep trying so hard to replace it. Epic burned billions trying to make a competitor. Amazon failed before they even got started. Ubisoft, EA, and a bunch of other publishers have abandoned their own PC launchers because nobody wanted them. Every attempt to take Steam down has failed. And why is that? Well, that's because when given a choice, players are always going to choose freedom over control. And that's why they're choosing Steam. Valve isn't just another faceless corporation. It still operates like a game developer. It's not run by marketing executives or analysts that don't play games. It's run by people who actually understand video games. They make video games. That's why Steam has a clear identity and one that prioritizes the players over the publishers. And that's why every single competitor is going to fail. Amazon, Epic, Xbox, EA, Ubisoft, every single one of these PC platforms was built by people who only put profits first and players second. They don't understand their audience because they aren't their audience. But Steam is different. It was built for the players, and because of that, Valve is the only company that is actually regulating the industry. I, for one, am completely happy that we have Steam on our side, and they are the ones that are laying out the rules right now. Because if they weren't doing it, then nobody would. Because, well, you know, in a lot of cases, there's nobody that's actually trying to fight on our side legislatively. It's governments and whatnot. Half these people are too old to really understand video games to begin with, and they don't really care about it. And
Let's make Steam a government. Let's be honest. We'll be we'll be better off making promoting Steam from a corporation to a government than anything else. Like, think about it. Maybe this is what we need. Like, make Steam a fucking government, and we'll live in it and be happy, because we'll always have like fucking like happy days and promotions about like random stuff that like we're happy anyway.
even if they did, well, they just probably have some people that would lobby against it, and then they'd make it worse. So, yeah. But there isn't a single company within this industry that could compete with Steam. And I say that with the utmost confidence because you have a company that, one, isn't publicly traded, so they're not being influenced by investors or trying to make money for other people. They're just trying to make money for themselves. And on top of that, these guys make more money per employee than Apple and Google. They're making more than enough money that they don't even care. And the only way for them to make more money, at least from their perspective, is just to invite more players in and then protect that audience, protect those customers, because that's the way.
One thing should that like you didn't mention, did you notice that like Steam doesn't fucking do promotion? Like they do not promote themselves. That's like they do not do ads or anything. This is how you know that like you're facing a behemoth, an economical behemoth. They don't even promote themselves. They don't need to.
That they stay. If you use them and abuse them, well, they're going to go leave. They're going to go somewhere else or something like that. That's not what you want. No. That's the reason why when we look at Steam, for the most part has been on autopilot. They don't need to change anything. They don't need to do anything to it. You don't need to add anything other than video games, more games for me to play and buy. That's the reason why these guys are going back to making video games right now. That's the reason why they're going and making a Steam Deck, because they're making ways to invite more players into the ecosystem rather than milk the players that are already there. That's how their vision is completely opposite for the rest of the entire industry, because these guys are so focused on trying to squeeze every drop out of whoever they have, they end up scaring everybody else away, including the people they're squeezing. That doesn't work out in the long run. Now,
yeah, and people and also like the people that work with them and themselves, and they lose years and years and years. I could fucking like bash on these fucking like stupid corporations that try to fucking like not that try to fucking act as like they understood something, where it's like everything is meta within like the electronic arts environment. Everything is meta. Everything. Every actor. People are not stupid. They're not like you're fucking like. And someday they'll understand, but it will be so late, and they'll fall from a fucking. They'll fall as their ego will be destroyed in such a fucking beautiful way. We won't see it, but like it will be funny. It's I know it will happen, and it's I laugh about it already.
while Valve has definitely betrayed us in the past, I'm not going to pretend like they're a perfect company. They are the ones that popularized loot boxes in a lot of ways. From my perspective, they're one of the very few that are still on our side and are still working for our best interests. They're still working for us. And that's the most important thing. Well, I think a lot of people believe that Steam's going to change one day, and fair enough. All companies change, things change. That's how the world works more than anything else. You know, this company is so small. They make so much money. Only have 300 employees. They have such a focused philosophy on video games and players and customers and their platform. I don't see that going anywhere. When you have a company that small with that strong a leadership, that doesn't just disappear overnight. That doesn't disappear when Gabe Newell leaves the company. Yes, I know we have a 62-year-old man that basically has the health and fairness of the entire video game industry weighing on his shoulders, but he doesn't really take me as the kind of guy that would just walk off and leave somebody else to burn it down. You're likely going to pick somebody that's going to be a solid successor. So yeah. Man, these publishers have to hate Steam. They are stomping all over every single dirty little nasty trick they want to pull.
Yeah, but it's so funny that like they never fucking succeed at anything compared to Steam. Just like living in this fever dream where they won 15 years ago and they cannot lose anymore. Like,
And they're not going to get away with any of it. Not unless they want to make money. If you want to make money, you better be on Steam. Anyway,
that's
I hope
right.
you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch. Like the video. Comment on the video. Follow me on Twitter. That is all I have for you today. Stay cool.
This was a great video. Thank you so much, Legendary Drops, for this video. Subscribe if you didn't. Leave a like. Like, this is really, 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 really a great way to fucking talk about Steam and talk about like how funny it is to see like over the years all these fucking corporations try to fucking sell you a product, and each time it's like, I know what you're doing. And it's like, and it doesn't, it's the fucking 17th seventh third time that you try to fucking do it, and I still won't buy your fucking like half finished game that you will abandon in a fucking month. Okay? Like, well, this is like the fucking like basement dweller slash no life type of like life, where it's like, yeah, we see that, and it becomes like kind of this pattern. What company will fucking try to tell me that they understood the truth and they really didn't? Next on the list? Well, I'm curious to know. Anyway.